Assalamu alaikum, good evening and welcome to BFA's On The Ball show with myself, Imrul Ghazi. We're here to talk about everything BFA, amongst other things that go on in Tower Hamlets, as well as around the country, as we've been doing over the last few weeks. So with us to talk about BFA football and more importantly about a few things that are going on in Tower Hamlets we've got core projects and members of core projects. We've got brother Dawood Marsh. Assalamu alaikum, you okay?
Walaikum salam, alhamdulillah, brother, yeah.
Good. And we've got Abu Bashar. How you doing? Familiar face, you were on a couple of weeks ago as well. You can't get enough of this, can you?
I know.
Okay, and also with us today, we're going to talk more about Arash. He's been on the show before. Some of you will be familiar with his face from Milton Keynes. From Milton Keynes Dons, he's the head under-13s academy coach. And we've got Arash Ali to talk about youth development. That's going to come in the latter segment. So Arash, welcome to the show.
Excellent, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Right, okay, so today we want to talk about special needs and disability football in general, but also talk about what you guys do in Tower Hamlets and core projects. Dawood, I'm going to come to yourself. Just for the viewers outside and myself, I guess, as well, what is core projects about?
Core projects, core stands for creating opportunities for real life experience. And really we set it up as an opportunity for people with learning difficulties and disabilities to develop skills in a real kind of work-based environment. So they might be doing cooking in one project, they might be doing floristry in another project, and obviously they're doing the sports as well.
Okay.
And it's about building their confidence and bringing them closer to the labour market, because remember, this group of people don't get the same opportunities for work and training as everybody else. So we're trying to level the playing field in that respect by giving them a supported environment in where they can learn a whole load of different things that they can use in their life in the future.
Okay, and Abul, you're obviously an employee. What's your role within core?
I've got several roles, but one of the main roles is specialist sports trainer. And we name our projects separately. So Monday we have core news, Tuesdays we have core buds or core roots, but Wednesday we have core sports, and that's where my role as specialist sports worker comes in. When it comes to that, we do various types of sports, but the core people that we have there, they're like mostly enjoy football.
Okay.
But we do hockey, we do BMX riding, mountain biking, boccia. So they do range of sports. So
Okay.
Every week, or we have a set 4 weeks plan of sports that we do, activities for them. But just recently, obviously, we're going to talk about the...
Yeah, we'll talk about the football project in a
We
short
do a lot
while.
of, we want to work in partnership with people. So when Abel's talking about doing the hockey and the different sports, we get other people like Access Sport and Disability Sports come in with their own trainers, and they support our staff and help the trainees get different experiences to be able to do a wide range of sports. Although football is a key thing, but it's about working with other organisations and bringing them to us to share skills and experience.
Yeah, okay. Again, for the viewers' purpose, how long has core projects been kind of going on? When did it all initiate and when was it founded, and what was the reason for it?
Well, the core projects itself was set up with me and my wife Aisha. We were both working in education, and when we left education, what we realised is that there were a load of people that wanted to do something that was real, something that was purposeful, and the first project we set up was Core News, which is a newspaper basically. So every 2 months we do 5,000 copies of a newspaper. It looks like a newspaper. It's proper web-based printed. It gets delivered to us from Cambridge, and it's got lots of things where they go out and meet different people, and they're like journalists, photojournalists and editors and all the rest of it. And that's a really good project. We started off with just a couple of grand to get that moving, and 3 years later we have a floristry project called Core Buds, we have the gardening project called Core Roots, we've got the cooking project Core Bake. You can see the theme, everything's core something, and then Core Sports. So we've got loads of different projects setting up, and we're even looking to work into another borough and take the newspaper project elsewhere.
Are you based specifically at the moment in
specifically in Tower Hamlets? We've been fortunate.
From where? Where is that?
Well, we're in Whitechapel. We're fortunate enough to be in the Attlee Youth and Community Centre. The Attlee Foundation set up the community centre, and they've got some wonderful facilities. They've given us the opportunity to expand our projects, particularly the sports, because they've got the Muga, they've got the five-a-side pitch, got the sports hall. So it's given us, and the kitchen as well, so we'll be able to expand the cooking. And we set it up because we wanted people to have opportunities, like I said earlier, to step into employment. So we're getting those skills, give them, rather than stand still and do the same thing week in, week out. They do lots of different things. Doing flower arrangements and seeing your flower arrangements in a cafe is an absolutely amazing thing.
Okay.
Doing your interview with someone and seeing it printed in the newspaper is also an amazing thing. Knowing that 5,000 people at least are going to read it. That's the kind of thing that we do, and people feel proud of their achievements and what they've done.
Yeah. Well, it's
The kind of things they say is, I've built my confidence. I've been able to do things I never thought I'd do before. I really feel like I want to get into some kind of employment. So the next step of our projects is to look at actually giving people the opportunity to be employed, and the in between of that is supported employment. So the gardening project, they get paid for their commissions. So when they get the money in, we divide it out amongst the trainees. We pay people to deliver the newspaper. So we're starting to give people something else other than just vocational training.
And in terms of numbers, for how many people do you have working for you delivering these projects?
Well, it's quite a small group, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's myself and Aisha, who are the directors. We have Abel and Raymond and Sarah, and then we've got Keely and Grace who do the arts project. Of course, I forgot to mention the arts project.
Yeah.
They've got a song on iTunes. Absolutely amazing to see these people that didn't talk very much at all performing in front of an audience and producing their own record, which is now available on iTunes, is absolutely amazing. You know, that's the kind of thing that we have been achieving.
Because it sounds brilliant. Arash, from your own experience, I know your area of expertise is football, but obviously you're a family man. You've got you would do a lot of work with the kids, but we're talking about special needs and that they are part of the community, and like I said, to encourage them to get out and hopefully learn new things, or exactly like Dawood's talking about. Do you have anything like this within Milton Keynes? And
to be honest, I've actually had the pleasure of working with kids with learning difficulties and also kids with disabilities at the MK Dons, because my journey started off in the community projects. So we did a lot of football sessions with those. So I say it's been a pleasure because it's a rewarding kind of opportunity, because you get kids that different learning difficulties, ADHD. With the disabilities as well, and to see them, come in and, as you said, build the confidence up. I mean, I remember one lad who couldn't even kick a ball, but by the time we finished with a kind of project, he was scoring, he was running about, and the smile on their faces, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
That's the main thing.
That's what it's about. Okay, for the viewers out there, Brother Dawood and Abul have very kindly put together a short clip for us to share with you guys, and hopefully show you some of the activities that they do with the community and with the youngsters in Tower Hamlets. So let's watch this short clip, and when we come back, we can continue our discussions around core projects. So enjoy. Okay, welcome back, guys. As you saw, some great work going out there, being done in the community by these guys. And for those of you that want to get involved or do know family members or friends from within the community that are looking to get involved in sports, how can they get in touch with you?
Do we give the
contact details are at the end of the slot there.
But if they contact BFA, we should be able to...
Yeah, you should be able to give it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so while we're on the topic of BFA,
Yeah.
let's talk about a tournament that's been arranged, and you've been instrumental in organising this, the Attlee Cup. We've got a poster that I think we can show with you, share for everybody. It's taking place on the 25th of this month, which is this month, next week, Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Yeah, it's from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Just tell everybody a bit more as to why you're doing that and the types of teams that are going to be playing in it.
Okay. Annually, we do a football tournament. Last year we did one. We did it league, but there was difficulties. But this year we're working with Attlee, and we thought to ourselves, like, maybe get BFA involved as well. So I got in contact with yourselves, and we thought, let's do a joint project. Initially we wanted to do like a league, but we knew there's going to be difficulty getting all the organisations to participate weekly. So we thought, let's try like a one-day tournament. So we thought we'd target 8 teams, but then we calculated the fixtures and all that. I thought it's going to be quite difficult, because services, they've got to pick up the members, and by the time they come here it's going to be 11:30. They need to finish by 2:30. So we just targeted 5 teams. So we had a lot of interest, but we targeted 5 teams. And so there's like ourselves, Core Projects, Appercent, BPCA, Mild May, and I thought another
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot another.
Not to worry. But is this going to be an annual thing now, or what's the plan for the future?
What we're going to try and do after the tournament, we're going to review it, and obviously the participant, we're going to see how they enjoyed it, and if we'll ask them, maybe do it monthly, once a month, or maybe every fortnightly, depending how they react to it.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that like a lot of the organisations, it's very difficult for us to come together. So like things like this, I think, can build good relationships.
Definitely. I think I know from our perspective at BFA, it's something that we want to do. We want to branch out and kind of we do a lot of work with other projects within the area, and it makes sense that it goes hand in hand. I know we do some IAS in the office does some work with disability football, but where do you see this relationship or this partnership kind of going in the future, Dawood?
When we set up the sports project, we saw it because football, I mean, a lot of people enjoy football, and it kind of bridges lots of different cultural gaps and even age gaps and ability gaps, isn't it, really? Everybody can participate in any way. But when we set up the Core Sports, we specifically wanted to teach how to be fit, how to look after yourself and get ready for sporting activity, but learn different kinds of sports. And one way to demonstrate what you've learned is to have a competition. So we've had lots of different competitions throughout the history of Core Sports, whether it was boccia, basketball, football, and we did
cricket as well.
The cricket, and we did the five-a-side competition last year, and but it wasn't just like a put it together competition. We actually had a proper referee that come from the London FA, and it really was quite good. It seemed quite professional, isn't it? Although some of the teams struggled to get involved. What we're looking for here is to increase partnership working, because we like to work with other people. It's easier to work with other people, but to share our enthusiasm for sport and to share the trainees' experience, because they talk with such pride with what they do. And when you come and see our guys play, you absolutely would want to get involved yourself. So to share that enthusiasm, but to put a network out as wide as possible, and to, like we were just talking in the clip, can we get your details and maybe come down and do a visit? Why not? That's just where you start networking and getting people involved in sport. Sport is a great way to bring people together.
Definitely. Well,
so that's what we wanted to do.
On that topic, I know Milton Keynes, you were saying just while we were watching that clip that you have a disability team. Tell us a bit more about that and how long it's been going.
Well, I mean, the disability team sits within our Sports and Education Trust. So obviously the Sports and Education Trust do various projects and community work from football and other sports as well, and part of that is the disability section. And we do have a kind of an adult disability team that play in a league against other pro clubs as well. And I think there's various age groups within that as well that competes. And they do have competitions, across the country, and try and compete to win trophies, etc.
So is that something that all pro clubs have to have now? Is Or is it part of their makeup, or how?
I don't think so. I don't know whether it's mandatory or not, but it is part of the makeup now, because I think as football clubs, we do recognise that, we have got a community at large, and and as you said earlier, football can be a bridge to help various different communities.
Okay, because I'm just thinking out loud with regards to pro clubs, and if you mentioned you've got one or two talented footballers, so if they were to forge a relationship, for our local club is West Ham, I know Dawood, you're a bit of a for your sins,
West Ham
you're a West Ham fan,
yeah.
But maybe that's something that again through BFA we have good links with the West Ham guys, and we're doing some work with them currently, so it's something we could definitely look into.
The thing that we do as well is with organising different events is we get the trainees involved as much as we can, and the footballers, they enjoy the other sports, but it's something that they've always really wanted, an emphasis on football, but they take part in thinking about how to organise, how to contact people, even sending out emails and stuff, coming up with ideas for the poster, and on the day they participate as much as they can, so it's not us just dragging them along with us, it's them walking with us. That's the other aspect of what we do as well, which is very important to us.
They're instrumental in the decision makings and ground rules and all that. They put all these things together, so we guide them through that.
I think that's not just for this particular group, but I think for any group, any age. When we're talking about youth development, I'm sure we'll touch on it later on. If you give them some kind of input, it only gives them ownership, doesn't it? And I think that's the key, is getting them involved.
I mean, what they want, the trainees want, is we talk about them as trainees or people with learning difficulties, but they've got names and they're individuals themselves and they're adults, and some of them have got their own families, so they want to be treated with respect. And that's what we try and do in every aspect of what we do, even down to them cooking their own lunch and preparing the day for themselves. It's very important that they take part in every aspect of the day, and they're part of us. Without them, we're nothing. Without us, they're nothing. We work together.
And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. But just again, for those, and I'd asked you off air as well, how are you guys funded? It's
mixed. I said before that we're fortunate to be in the Attlee Centre, so we know we have, they have different funding streams and they have different goals that they need to achieve. So we're in there as part of that, so we get a special rate within that. Okay. So we enjoy some of their facilities. The local authority have got a sports council, and we've benefited from £2,000 of equipment, which we're waiting to be delivered. We get community grants in the local authority. There's been 4 rounds of community grants, so we've got every single round of those, which has been really good. And each trainee that comes to us, this is the sustainability of our project, they come with what we call a personal budget. So they need to have a social worker who has, and with that they have an allocated personal budget that they can then spend on accessing services in the borough. Wow. So each person comes with that, and as long as they're happy, and they are, they stay with us. Okay.
The Attlee Cup, you've already mentioned the Attlee Centre, but why the Attlee Cup? And I know we were talking about it again just before the show. Tell us the history behind Attlee and where it all.
Yeah, well, Clement Attlee was the Prime Minister of the country.
I wasn't aware of this at all.
Yeah, I think Winston Churchill was before him, then it was Clement Attlee, then Winston Churchill afterwards. It was a Labour landslide in 45, I think it was, that elected Clement Attlee. If anyone challenges my historical knowledge,
you learn something every day.
There were politicians like
Clement Attlee.
Yeah, Attlee, from the local community, if you like, that wanted to give back to the local community. So the whole idea of the Attlee Foundation, in fact, his great granddaughter sits on the board of trustees. Wow. And the idea is to bring communities together and to benefit the local community. So what the Attlee Centre have done is supported us in kind of getting this competition together, and to recognise that, we call it the Attlee Cup.
Brilliant. Well, on that note, we have run out of time, so Dawood and Abel, thank you guys very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us on.
If anything else, we've all learned that there was a Prime Minister called Attlee, Clement Attlee. I didn't know that at all. So thank you. Very, very insightful. For anybody out there in Tower Hamlets, like I said, if you want to get involved, get in touch with BFA. Better still, get in touch with the core projects team, and they'll direct you to where you need to go. But like I said, just again remind you, Attlee Cup on the 25th, which is Wednesday this week, this Wednesday coming. 11 till 3 o'clock. And just remind everybody again where it's taking place.
It's in Atley Centre, which is
At the Atley Centre.
Just off Brick Lane.
Just off Brick Lane.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll give you more information on how it all went next week, hopefully. And I'm sure we'll get these guys back on in the future to tell us how they're getting on with all their projects. So guys, keep up the great work, and well done on arranging this tournament. And we look forward to working with you at BFA. All right, thank you
so much.
All right, guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we have more guests from Milton Keynes Dons, and we also have Pitts Football to talk about what they're doing in East End of football, East End of London. So go and get yourself a quick coffee, and when you come back, we're going to talk about youth development and all things football. Take care.